Under the terrain, though, I actually think I actually outspeed him. Because I use his terrain against him. I'm max speed, I'm speed boost. He doesn't know I'm Terra Ground, though, because he knows that, like, I'm not going to do anything to him. Here's where we make the crazy play. This is exactly why this Iron Boulder's on this team. Encore him in the fake out. Perfect. No Friggraft coming in on me. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Here it is. One shot this fucker. Get it out of here. Bop. Get outplayed. Take your rental team garbage and shove it, bud. You just got outplayed. What is up, everybody? Back with some more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Regulation G, VGC. We are back with one of my own personal teams around LUGIA. LUGIA is one of those restricted mons that it's kind of more of a bottom tier restricted. You're not going to see it very much, but this thing has incredible amounts of potential, and I think it's really rewarding if you play this thing really well. You can actually do good and has really solid matchups in the current meta. If you can build a really good team around it, and if you can play the team well, you can find lots of success with this thing, and you can actually do really good. That's kind of what this team really is. This is one of my teams. This is the team I've been working on for over a month now, actually. So we're going to kind of go into in-depth with this team. I'm going to break my own team down in-depth. We're going to showcase this team for you guys and kind of just give you some pointers and kind of what this team really does. And for you guys, if you guys want to use this team on the ranked ladder for yourselves, that's completely fine as well. I'll leave a link to a pokepaste for this team that has all the EVs and everything down to the T down below in the description for you guys. The rental's in the corner. By all means, if you guys want a really good ranked team to use, pick up this team. This is probably my best Regulation G team I've made up until now, and I've been finding a really good amount of success with this team, just mainly at the start of this format. I don't know how this team's really going to go as like when the format as it like keeps on going on like into Regulation G for over the next 3 months, but at least for the start of this format, this team is incredibly good. You do need to know how to play the team, and it's not like one of those teams you can kind of pick up like a brand dead Calyrex team and just click buttons. You got to know how to actually play this team, otherwise you're just going to get rolled a lot of the time, or most of the time. But once you learn how to play the team and you get really acquainted with the team, it's really incredibly good. So this is a team I've actually been building since even before December, before Regulation G went live. If you guys know, Regulation G went live at the start of December on Pokemon Showdown. This team got me, I think it was like number 58 on the ranked Regulation G ladder within the first 4 days of Regulation G being on Showdown, which at the time was around about a little bit over 1,500. So within the first 4 days, this team got over top 100 on Showdown, really solid. I don't know if it would be able to get to top 100 on Showdown as of now, like over a month later, but at least the start when Regulation G was first on Showdown a month prior before it went live in-game, this team had some really good results on there. That kind of what really led me to build this team in-game and kind of experiment and perfect it further. This team also in-game has results of actually I think it was top 20, top 2,000. I think I got like 2,100 on the in-game ranks ladder with this team. I kind of hit a wall at 2,100, but I think if you really want to take this team further, it just comes down to how much time you really have. I kind of, at least me personally, like that's kind of good enough for this team, at least for me. I just don't have really much more time to really invest in this team, at least as of now. I have a lot more stuff going on IRL and stuff, but if I really wanted to, I think if I actually put more time to try to ladder with this team, you could probably get higher than 2,100 on the ranked ladder. I generally think you could. It has all the potential in the world, and if you can play it really good, like I end up doing, it has a lot of potential to get higher on the ladder. So, top 100 on Showdown in December, and 2,100 on the ranked ladder for the start of Regulation G. It's kind of what this team really has going for it currently. I'm going to kind of break every single one of these mons down. I should have said this at the start of the video, but I will have a timestamp on screen, probably earlier than right now, but I'll have a time stamp on screen sometime at the start of the video if you guys just want to skip to the battles. I'll be showing a bunch of ranked games that we actually had on stream with this team about a week ago on stream. I was actually ranking with this team trying to get a higher placement or for a new record higher than 2,400. I got higher than 2,400, but it wasn't on stream. It was a few days later. But some of the best games, most competitive matches, we have this team on stream. I'll throw into this video for you guys, and I also might add a few more depending on how many I have. I have to go look. At least I'm recording this. I have to go still edit everything. So these post-editing me will go through and see how many games I actually have, and if I need more, I'll record more for this team. But to kind of break it down, this team's around LUGIA. LUGIA is a really cool restriction just mainly because you have multi-scale. You also have a bunch of really cool move pool options, and your really unique typing being the flying psychic typing. Not really the most greatest in the format. You are weak to a lot of the common stuff like both Cali forms, and there's a few other things you are really weak to like Flutter Mane. There's some other common non-restrictions you don't really like going against. Miraidon, Raging Bolt, there's a few other ones. But overall, if you can kind of patch out those weaknesses, it's one of those mons that kind of just snowballs out of control, especially if your opponent's threats to this thing kind of get shut down, or if they don't play them really well, you can kind of just run away with the lobby. It's not as brain dead as like a Calyrex or like a Miraidon where you just click a button and just roll the entire game half the time. You do need to kind of set this thing up, and you need to know how to play against this, play with this thing, like what it's good and bad against, and its matchups, that type of thing. Overall, really solid mon. This one is actually with weakness policy. With weakness policy, I think that the real problem with LUGIA is it just takes way too long to set up. With weakness policy, you bypass a lot of the setup that this thing really needs, and with a +2 special attack boost, you can start doing solid amounts of damage right away without having to set up some of the time, which is really beneficial for you in some of your games. There's some matches where you're going to want to just hopefully either proc your own weakness policy or get hit by a super effective move with the weakness or with the multi-scale, proccing the policy, and then starting to do damage right away to take out certain threats or start doing damage for like some of the other stuff on this team, and that's why it really works super well. A lot of people are running leftovers or like Cover Cloak or Clear Analysts, don't get their stats lowered or they're more bulky in that type of way with recovery. I think if you really want to run this thing right now, the most solid item in my opinion is weakness policy. Yeah, you do get stat spam with like Snarl and like a few other things like Spirit Break from like Grim Snarl is a thing this team doesn't like, and there's a few other things, but overall, I think it's more beneficial in the long run versus a lot of certain things currently in the format. So, got the Terra Normal there just to dodge your ghost type moves, mainly for Calyrex, or to take away some of your super effective weaknesses. Stuff like Calyrex Ice allows you to be neutral, which you can live a lot more versus that type of thing. Miraidon, Raging Bolt. There's a few other things in the format that can hit you for like super effective damage. A few dark types too, like Urshifu, if you really want to try to buy yourself a turn once in a while, that'll actually work. And there's a few other things that you don't really want to go against. Flutter Mane's another one that you don't really like. You can Terra Normal out of the ghost weaknesses after you get a policy boost, that type of thing. Just there is a more of a defensive Terra that allows you to stick around on the field a lot more after you get a weakness policy boost most of the time. It's kind of what it really is. Calm Mind is set up, recover for recovery. Psychic Noise is really good just because it blocks grassy terrain, which is really common currently. There's a lot of other stuff that this just really blocks. You can't recover if your Psychic Noise, leftovers don't work. There's certain moves like Draining Kiss, which are being ran on Calyrex, which is like literally the only way it really hits you unless it has like Terra Blast fighting, or if it has a like Expanding Force under terrain, it can't touch you. Usually the only other thing it really has on most movesets is Draining Kiss, which with Psychic Noise shuts that down and it cannot touch you. So there's a few certain moves in the format that are like recovery moves that Psychic Noise actually shuts down, which is really clutch. And he's got the Aero Blast there for really solid, high critical chance, flying type damage. It's kind of what it really is. Max HP, max defense on this thing. It's kind of what it really is. Like I said, all the EV spreads are in the paste. You got the Comfey on this team. Kind of a no-brainer to pair with the LUGIA. It pairs really well with this thing. Just keeping it topped off on health, allowing you to get your multi-scale back, that type of thing. And then just allowing the LUGIA to kind of late game just solo a team by itself with the help of the Comfey, just keeping it fully sustained. So, got the Floral Healing. You got the Leech Seed there too, which is kind of cool just to kind of stall down some of your other threats. Leech Seed is good into things like Dondozo, which is really good chip damage on that thing. Zamazenta, which some of the time you need to really be set up to kind of start doing damage to. But Leech Seed is really good chip damage. It's just overall really good chip damage on a lot of stuff that's more bulky in the format that it's going to take a while to actually either KO or you need to try to set up versus. So you're always getting recovery in that type of way and you're still doing solid amounts of damage and a lot more damage than Draining Kiss usually does most of the time. The Draining Kiss there just for priority damage is actually good into stuff like Urshifu, Urshifu Dark. There's a few other things in the format. Sableye gets 2-KO'd by it. There's a few other things that are also kind of common that actually get hit by a priority Draining Kiss and actually does solid amounts of damage versus. And then you just have Taunt there as a semi-fast taunt if you know if something's going to be going for like Trick Room. It's a non-prankster taunt, which I think is really valuable currently in the format for a lot of the stuff that wants to set up or set up Trick Room or that type of thing. You have the Urshifu on this team, kind of a really standard set with the Stellar Terra. Pretty much what you do with this thing is you come in and you start just shitting damage. It's just one of the main damage dealers on this team. You got the really fast Sucker Punch, hits really hard. Pretty much what it really is on this team. Kind of more of a late game cleaner mon that kind of comes in and kind of starts cleaning up alongside the Lugia late game most of your matches. That's what it's really there for, and also is really good in some of the stuff that Lugia doesn't want to go into. And kind of check stuff like Calyrex and a few other things it doesn't really like, so... Really standard set, not really much to talk about. You got the Iron Boulder on this team. A lot of people are not even using this thing. I think this is like one of the only high-ranked teams you're going to see an Iron Boulder on. I think people are really sleeping on this mon. It's really good into like all the Ogerpon forms, especially Ogerpon Heart Flame, which is like on a lot of your teams currently. It's good into Incineroar with Clear Amulet. It 2-shots Incineroar most of the time, and they don't 1-shot you back at all most of the time. Or they're forced to Terra. You're good in some of the other stuff like Cali Ice. You're decent into. You do solid damage into. They 1-shot you back, but like if you need certain damage ranges, a Mighty Cleave can pick up KOs on that type of thing. There's a few other mons in the format that's also pretty good into. So especially with Terra Ground, the main thing with this Iron Boulder on this team is this is your main check to stuff like Miraidon and Raging Bolt, which this team otherwise kind of struggles with. You have the Terra Ground there. Rock and Ground is really good coverage in the format currently. With that type of combination, you're able to hit stuff like Zacian. There's a few other things, Zamazenta for okay damage, I guess. Not really much if they sit up on you, but does decent damage if they're only like +1. But a lot of stuff in the format does not really want to take a combo of like a Rock move or like a Ground type move. Mighty Cleave also hits through Protect, which a lot of people don't even know exists because nobody plays Iron Boulder, so you can catch a lot of people off guard with Mighty Cleave just clicking it on stuff, and if they protect you, they still take damage. You can pick up a lot of like clean KOs that way with them not really knowing how it works. Zen Headbutt's there just mainly for stuff like Urshifu, and there's a few other things in the format that get hit super effective by the Zen Headbutt, so pretty much what you're going to want to do with this thing though is it's something you bring versus a lot of the Miraidon matchups. You catch people off guard. Most of the time, they usually just click Volt Switch on this thing, or they just go for, like, Electro Shift, pretty much. And Dazzling Gleam, unless they're specs, is usually a 2-hit KO most of the time. If they go for that, it has to be Terra Fairy, too, to even be a 2-hit KO. So, pretty much what you do is you go Terra Ground, you pair this thing alongside the Whimsicott, you go for Tickle, or even, like, Tailwind some of the time, depending on what they're running. Tickle plus a Terra Ground, Terra Blast 1-shots every single Miraidon build in the entire format, unless they're like a weird like max defense, max HP variant, which is nobody would ever be running for some reason. I don't know why anybody would run that, but any other variant that 1-shots guaranteed every single time. So, and also a lot of the Miraidons right now are currently running choice specs. So if they lock themselves into an electric type move when you go Terra Ground, you pretty much negate them from doing anything. You force them to switch. You can kind of just turn the tables instantly. And you also use their terrain against them, because with Cork Drive, you actually outspeed the Miraidon guaranteed unless they have Tailwind. So there you go. Kind of my main check to Miraidon with this team. Usually, most of the time it does work. It just depends on what team you're going against, which I'll probably talk a lot more about at the end of the video. Got the Whimsicott on this team with the Tickle, Encore, Moonblast, and Tailwind. Covert Cloak so you can't be faked out or have your speed lowered by stuff like Icy Wind or Snarl stuff, that type of thing. Tickle's just mainly there to pair alongside stuff like the Urshifu and the Iron Boulder, two of your main physical attackers on the team that really benefit from it. Encore is to lock stuff in that likes to set up. Really good versus stuff like Terapagos, and there's a few other monsters like to set up on you, especially versus this team. You can kind of take advantage of that just by encoring them into like a setup move and just kind of setting up alongside them and then like reverse sweeping them later in the game by just killing the rest of their team and just making like a 1v4 or 1v3 kind of clutch, or encoring something into a fake out with like an Iron Hands, for example, or a few other things that like to go for fake out in the format that don't get blocked by Prankster priority, so... He's got the Tailwind there for your speed control, and then the Moonblast for solid damage. And then last but not least, you got the Sableye on this team. There's a really overall supportive mon. The Will-O-Wisp is there to cripple a lot of your really heavy-hitting physical threats. Zacian, Zamazenta, Groudon, Koraidon, Rillaboom, Shifu, Water is really common. Almost like every single team shuts that shit down. There's a lot of other stuff. Calyrex Ice, if they're not Terra Fire, they get like pretty much crippled by the Will-O-Wisp. There's a bunch of other stuff. Will-O-Wisp just cripples in the format currently. A lot of physical attackers in the format that just get absolutely crippled by Will-O-Wisp. Really, really good for this team. It allows the Lugia to be a lot more bulky, not having to worry about a lot of those physical threats. You have the Shadow Sneak there for stuff mainly for Calyrex Shadow, but it's mainly on this team to proc your own policy in certain situations. Apart from that, it's just mainly chip damage to break focus sashes, or if something has like a focus sash on the enemy team, you have the priority there to kind of take that type of stuff out once in a while. It's kind of situational in that aspect. And you have the double screens there, which are all 8 turns with light screen. It's kind of where it is. It's pretty much an enabler to let the Lugia set up, or like other stuff on this team to shit damage in peace, not having to worry about us taking much damage from the enemy team. And this crippling a lot of the physical threats that this team really doesn't like going against either me or the Lugia. So overall, really, really fun team. Like I said, this team is incredibly fun to use. Probably like my best Regulation G team I've built, at least so far for this 2025 Regulation G. I don't know how many other teams I'm really going to build. I might only just end up building this one. I'm not sure. But let's hop in some games. These are some of the best matches we had with this team while trying to rank up and get a higher placement than 2400 on stream this past week. A lot of really competitive games. So let's hop in some of those. Another Miraidon team. These are all copy-paste teams. They're all copy-paste. This is another copy-paste rental. These are all copy-paste. I lead Boulder Whimsicott here again. I like Sableye just because I can burn half his team. He might bring Frigoraph, but like Frigoraph doesn't really do that much versus my team at all. I don't know if you'd really bring it if you see our Shifu Dark in preview. It's pretty sad. We're high on the ladder, and like the only thing, I think I'm like the only original team on the high ladder. We're just going against non-stop copy-paste rental teams. Like, does anybody actually build their own team anymore? This is fine. I'm fine with this. I just protect here and then use attack booster. I just protect. I protect. I want to see if he Terras this first turn. And if he goes for Fake Out, I can Encore him into that. So I'm just going to Tickle here. I could actually also go for Moonblast, but it's kind of risky if he goes for Terra. I'm just going to go for Tickle here onto the Miraidon. I want to see if he Terras or if he just Volt Switches out. I'm assuming he might just go right into the Frigoraph too. If he does, kind of sucks, but not really the worst thing ever. I'm Terra Ground, so I can still do some stuff. Just gonna stay in. Fake Out, doesn't matter. I'm Cover Cloak. Show me the Volt Switch onto the Iron Boulder here. That'd be great. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Perfect. Here's where we make the play, y'all. Here's where we make the play. I'm gonna go Terra Ground, Terra Blast into the Miraidon. At -1, it's a guaranteed one-shot no matter what. And then I'm gonna Encore him into Fake Out. If he goes into the Frigoraph here, he still gets 2 KO'd, I'm pretty sure, so. I don't know why you would just go into Frigoraph though. Like you outspeed everything on the field. Actually, under the terrain though, I actually think I actually outspeed him because I use his terrain against him. I'm max speed. I'm speed boost. He doesn't know I'm Terra Ground though, because he knows that I'm not gonna do anything to him. Here's where we make the crazy play. This is exactly why this Iron Boulder's on this team. Encore him into Fake Out. Perfect. No Frigoraph coming in on me. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. Here it is. One-shot this fucker. Get it out of here. Bop. Get outplayed. Take your rental team garbage and shove it, bud. You just got outplayed. Gosh, that feels so fucking satisfying. So satisfying. I bet he doesn't know what to do now. He has Whimsicott, whatever. Okay. It's fine by me. I don't give a shit. I want to do damage to the Iron Hand here, but I think he just swaps. Like, whatever he goes into, though, like, unless it's Dark Bear, takes a shit ton of damage, so... I kind of just want to go after the Whimsicott here, too. I'm just going to go after the Iron Hands. If he has Frigoraph in the back, I think he would have already went into it. I don't think he has it. I really don't think he has Frigoraph. And if he does, like, he has no damage. Ogerpon, you're dead. You're probably dead here, and if you're not dead, you get 2 KO'd. Perfect. No Frigoraph. That's great for us. Light Screen. That does nothing. Light Screen does nothing. It's a 2-hit KO. But what he's going to do here is he's going to try to get his Tailwind up and then try to protect stall terrain. Here's where Mighty Cleave comes in clutch. It's great versus Ogerpon that likes to go for Spiky Shield. I'm just going to Tailwind here. Just to, that way I can match Tailwind. Because if he goes for Tailwind here, if he's like max speed, maybe he can outspeed me, but he encores me into Tailwind, that's fine. I don't care. I can switch out on this next turn anyways. Just a Mighty Cleave, bop, gone. This is the power of Iron Boulder, y'all. Everybody's sleeping on Iron Boulder. I don't see anybody using this thing at all. This thing is really, really good. Mighty Cleave plus Terra Ground is almost perfect coverage for a lot of the shit in the format currently. Especially alongside like Tickle Whimsicott that can help you secure KOs. And then you also abuse the terrain that Miraidon's running currently. So he has no way to one-shot me here. I just go for like, I protect here in case he goes for Fake Out, but I switch the Whimsicott out right into the Sableye and I just go for Will-O-Wisp on this next turn. He surrenders. He's like, yeah, I got absolutely destroyed by this Iron Boulder. Absolutely wrecked. Get outplayed. That's why I love making my own teams. You can take these fucking rental teams and you can just run circles around them if you know what they do. And like if they don't know how to play them, which this guy never knew how to play it. He just took a rental team and he went onto the ranked ladder. He has no idea what the fuck he's doing. You can just outplay him and now I'm going against 949. How is that fair? How is this fair? I'm going against 949 on the ladder. I mean, this is... I guess it's winnable. Like, I have an okay matchup into this. I just get wrecked by, like, 3 things on his team, though. Man, the Lugia has a tough match here. I guess, like, the Sableye is pretty good here. Sableye is good. I'm gonna lead Lugia. Terra Normal Lugia ain't bad into his team. I don't know. It comes down to what I really want to bring here, though, because like I think Comfey is also really good. But like, I just don't know if I really want the Comfey or if I want to bring like more offense versus this guy. Cause Bundle ain't bad either. Or not Bundle, Boulder. I'll bring the Comfey, and I think I'll bring Urshifu again. I think that's what I roll with here. I gotta just hope that he doesn't bring Urshifu. If he doesn't bring Urshifu, it's winnable if I can go Terra Normal and at least set up. This ain't bad. This ain't too bad. Not too bad of a lead. I just go for Light Screen here. I Light Screen, Calm Mind. If he goes for Shadow Ball, he pops my Policy. There's the Thunder Wave. Okay. That doesn't really do much. I'm still really slow anyways. I have no speed. Dazzling Gleam. That's still a 2-hit KO. Is that Specs? That looks like Specs Flutter Mane for sure. That has to be Specs. That's Specs Flutter. I don't know. I kind of want to just get my screen up. I want a Shadow Sneak here too for damage, but I think screen's more important. I'm just going to Calm Mind again. Going to Comfey here. He specs Flutter Mane for sure. I kind of want to just go for Taunt on him. Like a non-prankster Taunt. But like Leech Seed also looks really nice here. I just need damage on him. I really just need damage. I think I'm just going to Draining Kiss here. Draining Kiss. Let's get rid of this piece of shit out of here, actually. I can go for attack on this turn, too, as long as the Comfey doesn't drop in one hit. This Arrow Blast here and get rid of the Grimmsnarl is just really fucking annoying. Oh, does so much damage. That has to be Specs Flutter Mane, it just does so much. Oh, that does nothing. That literally does nothing to him. A Floral Healing here. I'm Citrus Berry. Arrow Blast, that way it puts it in range for Draining Kiss on this next turn. And of course I get paralyzed, of course I do. Well, now I'm just going to start going for Leech Seed. I'm just going to start going for Leech Seed on the shit. Leech Seed, and then I'm going to start going for Calm Minds again. This is why I kind of wish I was actually like Clear Amulet, Lugia, or Culver Cloak. That way I wouldn't have to take the stat drops from these types of moves. I think with a Draining Kiss I can actually survive another turn. Arrow Blast. I can try to Arrow Blast for a crit here, hopefully. gonna be a roll of whether I even get the KO on this next turn. Oh, that does nothing. Oh my gosh, it does nothing. What do I even do here? The problem is, like, I just can't do enough damage. Like, I can't get any damage rolling. That's the problem I'm having. Everything on my side is dying, and I can't get any damage rolling. I gotta just hope a Draining Kiss kills here. Like, it does enough damage. I don't think it will, though. I don't think Draining Kiss does enough. Okay, I get a low roll. That's fun. I don't even live a Dazzling Gleam. So I gotta eat another Spirit Break to the face. Wow, is this fucking annoying. Can you just pop my weakness policy? That would be really helpful. Fuck out of here. Really annoying. I think the good thing is, like, I have Leech Seed on the Flutter Mane, so I think with one more Leech Seed, it might be in range for Sucker Punch, so I'm just going to go for Detect here, and I'm going to try to recover. Just going to go Terra Fairy. Okay. You have to be really low on power points already. His power points have to be really low. I think if the Lugia dies here, though, I just automatically lose. Or if I get fully paralyzed. Thunder Punch, I'll live. That's fine. He procs my weakness policy. That's great. Thanks, bud. That really helps me, actually. I don't know. With a Stellar Terra boost, does Sucker Punch get the KO here? What am I at? Like, what? Minus... I'm at +1 now, actually. I'm at +1. Okay. I don't know. Does a Stellar Terra Sucker Punch get the KO here, though? I don't know. It's really risky. I gotta go for it. He's straight specs. I gotta go for it. I gotta go for it here. And then I can just recover again. Perfect. Huge. Huge KO. The crit, I don't know if the crit mattered. Did the crit matter? I don't know. If that wouldn't have killed him, Leech Seed would have, so I think he was dead either way. High horsepower, okay. That's a 2-hit KO. I get a free recover. Perfect. What is your last Mon? I lose Reflect, that's bad. Raging Bolt, that's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted. I mean, I guess I can kinda play around Raging Bolt as long as it doesn't have Snarl. I think I just go for the Wicked Blow here. I Wicked Blow. And I Arrow Blast. I'm at +3 Spit F. So I can kind of 1v1 the Raging Bolt a little bit. That's what I go for here. He surrenders! He surrenders! I think you still had a chance to win. I think that was I just got a victory versus a top 1000 person. Okay. I didn't expect to win versus that, if I'm being real with you guys. That was an absolute slog at the start there. Like, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything at all. I'm shocked he surrendered there. I think he would have had a chance to win still. Now we're going against a copy-paste Calyrex. If you guys don't know this team, this is actually a Japanese players copy-paste rental team for Calyrex. This is actually a team I was going to feature on the channel, but I thought it was really boring, so I never featured it. But this is a copy-paste rental team. What do I even do here? It's expanding Force Calyrex with an Astral Barrage. That's what this shit is. With Chiyu, with Urshifu Water, and then Ogerpon. I mean, Lugia is good here if I can set it up. Lugia is good. I just gotta try to set it up. Sableye I want screens for sure. Urshifu looks really nice here too. What else do I bring? I guess the Comfey here. I don't think the Iron Boulder does enough to really justify bringing it. Especially like... I just burn this. I burn the Ogerpon here. I mean, he might go actually into the Indeedee, predicting the Will-O-Wisp too, actually. Which he could do. I kind of just want to go Terra Normal, but like, it's really early to go Terra Normal if he has Urshifu in the back. That's my only problem with this. I think I have to go Terra Normal, though. I think I gotta go Terra Normal. Terra Normal, Calm Mind, and then I'm just gonna go for the light screen. I'm gonna light screen here because I think he's gonna maybe switch in Indeedee on this turn. Predicting Will-O-Wisp, or just go for Protect. Only shitty thing is now is like the only way I get my weakness policy if he has Urshifu and goes for like close combat, or if he has fighting coverage on this. Follow me, that's fine. I don't really care. What do you like, nasty plot, Calyrex? I forgot exactly what this team had. Astral Barrage, that's fine. Still a 2-hit KO. Still a 2-hit KO. I'm gonna Arrow Blast here. I kind of want to just go for Reflect. That way if Urshifu comes in, I have something against Urshifu. But I also have Comfey in the back, so I'm not really too worried about it. I think I'm gonna Shadow Sneak the Calyrex here. And hopefully he just goes, protects the Ogerpon or switches. Shadow Sneaking is gonna one-shot him from this range, but it's 4 times effective, so it does solid damage. This goes for Follow Me. I should have went for Will-O-Wisp. I should have just went for Will-O-Wisp, then I started Calm Minding more. That does nothing. And he's Rocky Helmet Ogerpon. Or Reflect. I could have just went for Reflect there too, would have been better. So now he's starting to get free boosting off me, and I don't want that going on. This Aeroblast has to one-shot him. Perfect. The crit I don't think mattered. I'm assuming he has Indeedee in the back. That has to be his other Mon. It has to be in the Indeedee. There it is. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to protect. I want to see what he is. See how much an Aeroblast does to this thing. It's the special defense boost, kind of sucks. I want to see how much an Aeroblast does. And then I'm going to see if he goes Terra Fairy on the Indeedee here. I'm just going to go for the protect. To Terra. Terra Dark. I don't know. This might actually be a little bit of a different rental team than the one I seen though, because I don't think that one had Terra Dark Calyrex. I think it was Terra Fighting Calyrex that team had. That was going to feature that. It was like identical to this. That does nothing. Alluring Voice. I didn't even know it got Alluring Voice. I'm just going to Calm Mind again. I think if I can just keep Calm Minding up, I can maybe just win with Lugia later in the game. I'm going to try to Wicked Blow here if I don't get one-shotted by him. Because now he can't Terra. I'm Focus Sash too, so I can at least get one hit off here. Comes down to whatever his last Mon is. If it's Urshifu, I'm going to be in a bit of a bad spot because he has Terrain up still, and I can't go for like priority draining Kiss into him. I don't have a Reflect either, but I still have my multi-scale, so he can actually give me a free boost with Weakness Policy. Okay, it's Whimsicott, okay. So I'm assuming that it has to be Encore Whimsicott, actually. If he has Encore here, he might just win. If he has Encore, he might actually just win. I gotta try to stall the Terrain out. Like, how many turns of Terrain does he have? It's 3 turns of Terrain. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I can Sucker Punch here. I actually can because of the Terrain. Light Screen, that's fine. As long as he doesn't Encore me into Aeroblast, I'm fine here. Because I think I can still win the game with Lugia alone. Because he's taking Life Orb every single time he attacks me too. So if this Aeroblast does a solid amount of damage to him, I can just stall the Life Orb out. Okay. Does Draining Kiss, does that get affected by Terrain? Or am I just going to throw my turn down the toilet, maybe? I don't know, I'm just going to Aeroblast here again. Just Aeroblast again. I kind of wanted this Draining Kiss. Like, I think that gets procced by Terrain, actually. So I think I don't even really do anything here, unfortunately. I'm going to try to Draining Kiss. Like, I can't do anything because everything I have gets either procced by Terrain or I get outsped and one-shot by Calyrex, so Comfey just doesn't do anything. He surrenders. As for this team, as you guys can see, really, really solid team. It's one of those teams that you kind of really have to get acquainted with to play it really well, though. If you guys do want to use this team, I would recommend just like using the team, play it for like 10 games on whether it's the ranked or the casual ladder, get really acquainted with the team, and then start going into ranked or start playing the team like full force on the ladder. I think if you really want to rank up with this team will easily get you to Master Ball tier for sure. I just kind of breeze through a lot of the lower, like Great Ball and Ultra Ball tier right on up to Master Ball tier with this team. So easy team to get up to Master Ball tier if that's what you're looking for. And this team, like I said, can go really high on the ranks ladder too. I got to 2100, but it can probably get higher than 2100 if you have a lot more time than I do to get this team higher on the ladder. If you guys do happen to get higher than 2100 on the ladder too, let me know. Send me a screenshot with this team and show me that you guys got higher than 2100 on the ranked ladder. That'd be really cool to see. I'll probably tweet it out. If you guys have an X, I'll maybe screenshot and tweet out over there on Discord. I'll put in the Discord server. That'd be really cool. But anybody that wants to use this team as well, if you're like I know there's some other like content creators that also like to watch my videos, feel free to use this team as well. If you guys are looking for content, really cool content team, it's also really good. Just give me some credit either in the video or in the description, that'd be great, or shout out in the video or whatever. Completely fine. Rental in the corner, paste down below. As for this team as well, like all the good matchups, like I'm going to kind of go through the matchups with you guys. This team is okay into Miraidon. Most Miraidon teams, you do have a good chance of winning versus if you play well. It does struggle a bit into Miraidon, like this team by all means isn't good into Miraidon, but if you can play the Iron Boulder and the Whimsicott combo and kind of play around that really well, you can win versus a lot of your Miraidon matchups. So that is good in that way. This team wins versus Miraidon. This team wins versus Groudon. Kyogre, this team struggles with a little bit just because if they're like a hyper offense Kyogre team with like Tailwind Tornadus and like that type of shit, everything on this team gets one-shotted by the Kyogre apart from Lugia, which kind of sucks. So I would say it depends on the Kyogre team, but you can win versus Kyogre. It just depends on the team. If they're a hyper-offensive Kyogre team, this team kind of struggles with them, but it depends on the Kyogre team, so it's kind of a meh matchup. What else? Zacian, depends on the team, but most Zacian teams you do win versus. Samazenta you win versus. You don't have to really worry about that at all. Terapagos, another common restricted, you win versus most of the time. Depends on the team, but 90% of the time you should win if you play really well. I don't know what else. Both Calyrex forms. Calyrex Ice, you have a lot of options versus. It depends on the team, so kind of a meh matchup. Calyrex Shadow, it seems like this team's really weak to Calyrex, but if you use Terras and you play really well, you can actually get around the Calyrex Shadow and win most of your Calyrex Shadow team matchups. So this team, I would say, overall is pretty good into Calyrex Shadow. So, apart from that, a lot of the other restrictions you don't even see on the ladder. I don't even think there's really any other restricted that are like super common on the ladder apart from the ones I listed. A lot of the ones that are, I guess maybe the one I didn't really talk about is Lunala, but I've barely ran into any Lunala on the ladder at all. So a lot of the restrictors I didn't even list aren't really that common on the ladder. So this team does match up and has like options for all of those, but you're not going to really be running into them that often. I think I ran into a Kieran Black team that I ended up wrecking, but like a lot of the lower tier restrictors like Kieran White, Kieran Black, Solgaleo, Lunala, Duskmane, Necrozma, whatever the other one is. Like a lot of those lower tier restricteds, Ho-Oh, there's a few other ones. Like you ain't gonna really be running into a lot of those, and like even if you do, you still have a pretty good matchup into the majority of them. So I'm not gonna really talk about those very much. But for the highest played, most used restricteds currently in the form, I think the team overall covers the majority of them, has options for overall all of them. It depends how you really play, and it also kind of depends on their team. But if you play really well, you can usually win a lot of those matchups. So solid team, really fun team. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna get out of here, and I'll see you guys in the future video. Leave a like, subscribe, share the video. I also do stream over here, usually Friday and Saturday nights. If you guys don't want to miss when I'm live, subscribe. Usually stream Overwatch, Apex Legends, a bunch of other stuff on Friday nights, and then over here on Saturday nights I usually stream Regulation G or VGC of any whatever format's currently going, or singles 66 Wi-Fi battles usually on Saturday nights. So if that interests you, subscribe. I don't know when my next team is going to be. This is probably going to be maybe the only team I'll be making for Regulation G 2025 until like double restricted. We'll see how it goes, but if this video does well and this team does really good and have a lot of support with this team, a lot of people using this team, I might make another one. So we'll see how it goes. Peace out, everybody.